NHL playoffs getting further out of reach this season, the Calgary Flames and general manager Craig Conroy are making moves to bolster our future. With multiple signings lately, it's clear that Conroy's plan is still intact, and hopefully we can get out of the eternal cycle of mid, and I've got some stats to back up that claim. We're going to get into all that and more in this video, but first I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you specifically, to the Flames Digest family. Without further ado, let's hop straight in and talk about these moves being made. And it's one move in particular we'll be talking about. Obviously, the Flames have done a couple signings lately, signed some ELCs, signed some college free agents, maybe from Calgary itself. Pretty cool, but the latest one is kind of a really good one, a bit of a sneaky good signing, if you will, as he's really under the radar unless you're a Flames fan. But in case you missed it, yesterday, the Flames did a little transaction here. So Adar inked. The Flames have signed forward Adar Sunyev to a 3-year entry-level contract with an AAV of over $900K per season. Absolutely fantastic to see. Obviously, he had a very good college season this year, which we'll get into in a second. Kind of out of nowhere, his offensive game was really, really good. He's a forward, and the Flames need offensive help, as we all know, and it sounds like he is ready to chip in. So here's a little quote from Sunyev himself as he signed the contract. You can see there at the bottom, putting pen to paper. I believe it's number 36 is the number he chose as well. So I think I definitely can produce strongly offensively, but I think what I've been working on these past 2 seasons is my defensive side of the game. So Adar Sunyev is in YYC, ready to get started on the next chapter of his career. Will we see him in an actual Flames uniform this season? That could be very, very exciting, but it's great. He already knows what he's bringing to the table, what he's been working on, and the player he wants to be to help out this franchise, and we couldn't be more pumped to have him. So why don't we take a little look at some of the facts here. So he was born November 16th, 2004, so he's 20 years old and doesn't turn 21 for quite a while. He's from Kazan, Russia. Pardon me. He's a left wing by default, we can say. Kind of moves around a little bit, as it seems like almost every forward does these days. 6'2", so pretty good size on him. 198 pounds, not the heaviest yet. Obviously, room to put on some pounds. He's still just young and spry at 20. Shoots left as well. I know we've been gunning for some righties, but still, we will absolutely take it. And let's take a look at his stats over the past few seasons here. So way back in the day with the Thorold Blackhawks, he absolutely popped off with 8 points in 3 games. I honestly don't even know what league that is. The GOJHL, the good old junior hockey league. No, I think Thorold, isn't that in Ontario? Probably like Greater Ontario Junior Hockey League or something like that. Either way, that's a long time ago. He was, 17 back then? Even younger. Whatever. I'm getting ahead of myself. BCHL is where he really started to pop off as a 17-year-old, 20 points in 17 games, fantastic. 90 and 50 in back-to-back championship seasons with the Penticton Vs. But these past couple seasons with UMass, he has been absolutely spectacular. So last season, 12 goals, 13 assists, 25 points in 36 games. Not too bad at all. Obviously puts up some PIMs as well. But this season really took off. Over a point per game with 20 goals and 18 assists in 35 games for 38 points, which is absolutely fantastic. A 20-goal season. And he was fantastic against the University of Minnesota Golden Gophers in the NCAA playoffs. Scored the series-winning goal in an upset over the Golden Gophers, which was honestly just fantastic. UMass obviously knocked out now. That's why he signed his ELC with the Flames, of course. But honestly, this is a fantastic signing. It's nice to know that Conroy's still down to make some moves every now and then, maybe bolster the lineup any way he can, or just really starting to set up for the future and his plan coming together nicely. That is what we just absolutely love to see. And hopefully it can help us get out of the mushy middle and just this eternity of mid, as I said. But let's actually take a look at some stats of mid, because there are 2 different kind of sets of stats I want to take a look at. Team stats for the Flames, and they're very interesting. One comes from the Instagram account Slapshot, which I think goes with All Hockey Culture, something like that. But it's very interesting here. So every team's worst season since 2000. The Flames, they're up there. So 72 points is their worst season. As you can see, almost every other franchise has had terrible seasons. And a lot of those teams that did have terrible seasons obviously were able to draft absolute stars once they once they probably either won the lottery or got, second overall pick, something like that. But it's just insane that the Flames, our worst season since 2000 is 72 points. That just shows that this team does not want to tank for a number one pick, but it kind of gets us in that not so great zone. So it's very interesting to note that our worst season is one of the best. Does that mean that our best season is also one of the best? Well, I think you guys already know the answer to that one. But if we take a look at every team's best season since 2000, no, not even in the top half of these. Obviously, we've seen generational seasons like Boston, obviously a couple years ago, 135 points. Some of these are the pace they were on. So Chicago didn't actually get 132 points in 2013. That was the lockout shortened season where they lost. They almost never lost in regulation in that entire season. Of course, went on to win the cup. But we've seen so many great seasons. The Flames, our best season was just a few years ago, obviously 2022, but just 111 points is our best season since 2000. So again, kind of in the mushy middle there. The fact that our worst season is one of the best isn't necessarily a great thing. It shows that we're always competitive, but it doesn't show that we're always super successful, as is obviously translated in that our best season doesn't really compare to some of these other teams who have been, competing for President's trophies essentially every single year. Even the year that we got 111 points, sure, we were, best in our division, but I don't think we finished top of the conference. I think we were maybe top 5 that year in terms of points. There were a lot of good teams in the East as well. So we're not even ever really competing for the President's Trophy. It just really seems like we're almost always competing for that, 7th to 8th seed if we're really looking at it. I know 2022 was a great year. So was 2019, of course. But it just shows that we're just stuck in this eternal cycle of absolute mid. And the other stat I have to show is more so about this year and showing if we really are a competitive team or not. So it shows our record and our points percentage against the best teams in the league, and then we'll take a look at the worst. So against the best teams in the league this year, which means your winning percentage against the top 16 teams in the league. So obviously Winnipeg, they're having an incredible season. Vegas, top of the Pacific. Teams like Washington, Dallas, Colorado, Florida, all teams you'd expect to be up there. They're actually really good against the best teams as well, and that's why they're higher in the standings. Now the Flames, we're not so good against the good teams in the league this year, winning only 38.6% of our games against the top 16 in the league. Now, I think the screen cap was either taken from yesterday or 2 days ago, so these numbers might be slightly off, but still, the teams will all be relatively in the exact same place. So it shows that the Flames, sure, we've had a really good season, but maybe we've only been beating the bad teams. Is that true? Well, if we take a look here, yes, we're top 6 in terms of winning percentage against the bottom 16 teams in the league. So really, I don't want to say that this season, wasn't a success and it wasn't fun to watch the Flames, but maybe we were all kind of kidding ourselves at how good we actually were. And it really just came down to that winning streak at the beginning of the season and, being able to beat some of these not so great teams throughout the year, which is, it just kind of does sting. Again, I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy, a negative Nelly, whatever you want to say. It's just kind of true. Sure, we've been able to beat the bad teams, but we just haven't been able to beat the good teams this year. So maybe if we even did sneak into the playoffs, would it even be that worth it? Yes, it would. We love playoff hockey no matter what. But I just thought these were very interesting stats to take a look at. And I know there are people who are absolutely sick of being in the mushy middle. And here's more fuel for you to talk about with whoever you talk about, this eternal cycle we are stuck in. Now let's get into tonight's game. Try and do something a little more positive, I guess. The Flames have a matchup against an easier team, a bottom 16 team. Maybe we'll keep the win streak going, or at least the higher winning percentage. So the Flames play at 7:30 tonight at the Dome against the Anaheim Ducks. The Flames have been really good against the Ducks over the past few years now that Anaheim has cooled off. Remember when we couldn't win in Anaheim for like decades, it almost seemed like? Crazy that it seems like we kind of have had Anaheim's number since. But interesting to note here, of course, is the starting goaltender is Wolf, but here are the lines. So Andersson did not skate this morning for maintenance, but you can probably expect him to be in tonight anyway. So top line, Sharky, Kadri, Pospisil, Huberdeau with Frosty and Coronato, Beezer with the backs and Pickles, and then Lomberg, Rooney, Klapka. The unreal fourth line sticks together. Hanley and Weegar as the top line, or top D pairing, I should say. Ball with what will most likely be Andersson, not Mirmanov, and then Bean and Pahal as your third line pairing, which with, of course, Dustin Wolf between the pipes. As I said before, that is your lineup. Let's get into the comment of the day to wrap up this video. And this was just honestly someone speaking absolute facts. And I really like what you're saying here. It comes from one of these years. Yes, fingers crossed we finally win the cup one of these years. But they said, tanking just is not in this franchise's DNA. It can be frustrating, but I also think it's something to be very proud of, very Calgarian. And it's true. It's in the franchises, it's in the organization's DNA to not give up and to always fight. The same thing with our city. No matter which way you look at it, we're always going to keep trying, keep striving. And I thought that was really true. That's a good way to look at, kind of being in the mushy middle forever as a positive. At least we're always trying our hardest, trying to be competitive. Even if, being bad is the easier way to get good. Hey, that's just what we do around here. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe, like what you saw here today, and have a wonderful rest of your day.